courtesy of the dynamic duo, Giulia and Patrick. So Giulia is co-founder and CTO of Fruitful Farming AG. She worked as software engineer and technical consultant for a global tech consulting company and a global bank. Giulia holds a master's degree in environmental engineering from ETH Zurich and is a certified cloud engineer. Giulia Schneider, please come on up. And her partner in crime today and other days, I assume. Patrick is co-founder and CEO. Come on up, Patrick. Of Fruitful Farming AG. He's 19 years of experience in wealth management, asset management, and advanced analytics in both large institutions as well as financial boutiques. So you've worked as an analyst, investment portfolio manager, project manager, and you hold a degree in business administration as well as data science from Zurich University of Applied Sciences. All right, so we're really looking forward to hearing what you guys have to tell us about Fruitful.
Thanks a lot. So let me kick it off. So probably also as you see what we come from, it's not exactly the field that we're currently working in, but it's a super interesting topic that covers lots of areas. So thanks a lot for having us today. We're super excited to give you some more insights on what we do. First off, we are Fruitful Farming AG, so we're a young startup. We just founded our company this year. We're a team of 6 currently, so quite a dynamic team working on different fields, but also the topic today covers a wide area. So anyway, it's quite essential to have the different talents on board that can work on the different things. So first off, I would quickly want to give you a short overview on what we do in a short video. So for the ones that haven't heard about vertical farming, so that you at least see how this setup can look like, and then in the following minutes, we'll give you some more insights.
Hi, I'm Patrick. And I'm Mihai, and this is Fruitful Farming. Come on in.
So this is a small vertical farm in Bülach, close to the train station. We're collaborating there with a partnering company called Step Farming. They are operating the vertical farm, and we deliver the tech, so the sensors, the cameras, and also this box that you saw there that allows us and them to steer the environment. So looking at vertical farming in general, you have these new capabilities to do farming. So it's much more tech driven. It's 3-dimensional, since you can use different layers and stack them on top of each other. That allows you to grow many more plants in a small area. It's soilless. That means that you can much better steer what exact nutrients get to the plant, and you can control way better on what makes the plants thrive. And this is also what we are doing from Fruitful Farming. Vertical farms use circular systems, so that means that the water is getting reused and transported back to the plants, so you gain a lot in water efficiency. You can very transparently monitor the resources that you use to grow certain plants, because you're in control of everything. And also it allows you to give out quite a consistent quality of the produce itself, since you can control everything. And as we want to aim for making plants happy, it's important to understand the environment, but also how the plants react to the environment that they're in right now, so that we can use AI to like monitor the development, but also to improve the recipes that the plants use to grow. So currently looking at agtech innovation in general, there's quite a lot of things going on. On the left-hand side, you see vertical farms and indoor farms that move into a more digitized area. They use sensors to control everything, but they still have lots of labor to do. And also they, labor to do because they need to be on site. They need to check the water quality and everything. And also they just follow a very static recipe to grow the plants. On the right-hand side, however, you see agtech companies that are on the open fields. They often use drone technology to scan the fields and then evaluate the crop quality or crop health. What we came up with is using AI and IoT devices to capture both sides of the equation. So to see what goes into plant growth, but also capture the plant's reaction to it in order to be able to retrain or train our machine learning algorithms to come up with better ways of growing the plants. To do that, we developed both software and hardware. So hardware side, as you see, I'm not an electrical engineer, but it works. So we can connect sensors to these devices on the right-hand side. The white ones are small Raspberry Pi Zeros that we adjusted or that we attached specific cameras to it that allow us to track the plant health. So these devices allow us to put commands in, like adjust the pH or add new nutrients, and then there's the pumps running in this box that will start running. And we do that by controlling this entire thing via the dashboard that Giulia also will talk a bit more about it. So we've set up everything in the cloud that allows the dashboard user to then enter new commands or something like that. The image analysis part will also be covered by Giulia. To do what we do or to learn from plants' behavior, it's important for us to have this feedback loop, as everybody knows that worked with AI probably. So we try to observe the environment and the plants themselves. We learn continuously by streaming this data into the cloud and then analyzing it in real time. And we use this information to adjust the growth environment in general. And with that, I would like to hand over to you, Giulia.
Thanks, Patrick. Okay. Maybe regarding these feedback loops. So we want to cut down the time from when we start the observation until we adjust the system to hours and days and not how it was in traditional agriculture. Then you have weeks when you start growing something and then you have to harvest a month later. So how do we do all of this? In the first step here, we observe the plant growth under the given conditions. For this, we have those IoT devices and we call them Fruitful boxes, which we provide to our partners' clients. And those Fruitful boxes are connected to a number of pumps and sensors, which measure the main factors that contribute to plant growth. Those are nutrients in the water tank, light and air conditions. So, for example, we measure the pH and dissolved oxygen concentration within the water, and also the humidity and air CO2 concentration, and of course, many more. Then we observe the plant behavior using those static cameras, which we just attach simply to the vertical racks. And we take images every 5 minutes. So as Patrick said, all the data points and images are then streamed to the cloud, where they're analyzed in real time, stored and made available for our end user in the Fruitful software as seen here. And those are actually values of one of our partners in the lab you saw before. So that's a CO2 concentration when somebody enters the room. It's quite nice to see. All right. Then in the next step, we learn growth patterns using advanced analytics. For this, we quantify plant growth, as seen here, and plant stress. And then we use those results as input into our machine learning models. So for this, we implemented a deep learning model that segments the image and gives us the plant area size for each single plant. Below, you can see the plant size on the y-axis over time for the different plants, which we can see. So plant growth, it has an inherent variability within a population, even though the plants have the same conditions. We don't have any soil, so we expect all the plants have the same nutrients and so on. But we still see that some plants just don't grow as fast as the others. So this one clearly has some suboptimal growth, this blue one. Oh, that was this one. So this allows us to advise farm operators to take appropriate actions. So for example, they can eliminate those underperformance before they are transplanted to not waste any resources in the vertical farm. On the other hand, we quantify plant stress using multispectral analysis. So we look at the different light spectrum, and we know for a fact that plants reflect and absorb light differently based on if they're stressed or not. Then we combine all those insights from plant growth and plant stress into our Fruitful remote H2 index, so health and happiness index, and which is then the target variable of our model. So in the next step, we actually find areas of optimal growth based on the collected environmental data and our H2 index. And always when working with AI, it's very important to understand the model. Why is it doing what? And we do this by visualizing the model output with those plots. So here we see that for each parameter, as for example, pH and humidity, on the y-axis, we see the model impact on the x-axis. So we see here that pH, low pH values as indicated by the blue color, they have a very high impact on the model output. So this exact model, it would suggest that we should lower the pH and we should increase humidity, for example, for the given plant type and the given growth phase. Of course, this would then change for each plant type and growth phase. Which then brings us to the next step, the adjust step. So we can adjust the system in real time based on the given insights. And we have 3 ways our farm operators partners can do this. Either they can just update, trigger the pumps manually within the UI. They can set some rules and say, okay, over the next few days, the pH should be in this range. Please maintain it at that target state. Or 3, they can go with our AI solution, which dynamically and continuously then updates the target state of the system. And with that, back to Patrick. Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Giulia. You've seen like different things. I mean, looking at basil, probably it's not really worth it doing it in too much detail or too much over-engineering with a simple plant like basil. But currently, I mean, there's a lot of like demand for new pea plants or other crops that are used for milk alternatives or meat alternatives. So like protein-rich plants or exotic spices like vanilla or other stuff. So we see a lot of demand to grow such crops in an artificial environment because you can do so with reduced footprint in the environment. You can reduce the resources that are needed while at the same time increase the transparency and the output quality. And this is why currently we're still focusing mostly on leafy greens, so not too complex plants. But it's super useful for us to build our AI model, to learn from it and to see how the dynamics work. And then to be able to also move into more complex plants or to go into the plant-based protein market and to support people that are sourcing these plants and they cannot source it because there's too few farmers that grow them. Another advantage also of vertical farming, of course, is that you don't need to have large fields that just grow soy because you have a lot of demand for producing tofu or whatever, but you can do it in a farm, in a house, and stack them on top of each other, and that really helps to reduce the monocultures on the open field so that you can use the agricultural land for reforesting or reforestation or other stuff. So it's a super interesting field for us, and it's a lot of fun to work in it. Yeah. So with that, just some impressions from our farm on top, what it looks like and what we grow with our technology. Like the strawberry is with a farm in Italy, and the other one was at home, like a radish. I really don't have a green thumb, but with the technology, I'm at least able to grow some plants successfully. So yeah, and with that, thanks a lot for your attention.
Thank you both very much. Wow, I have a few questions flying around my head. First of all, I'd never thought of happy versus unhappy plant. I mean, unhappy plants normally wilt. Also, I do not have a green thumb, so I have more experience with unhappy ones than with happy ones. But the stress factor of stressing the plants. How do you know if they're stressed? Do you get is it a visual thing or is it an alarm or something that?
Well, it's we use this multispectral analysis to get that. So they reflect less in the near infrared range, and we then detect that with the cameras and can say, but if they're so stressed, it's usually already quite late.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the idea is to catch it before they stress out.
Yes.
Exactly.
Then we will fail.
Okay, and how does it taste the same? Because we were wondering this, is it comparable to taste to outdoor farming?
Usually the taste is maybe a bit different than the one that you know from buying it in shop. Like arugula is not that punchy when you buy it from Migros or Coop, but it's way more spicy and tangy when you produce it this way. So it's also super interesting to play around and to see, what influence taste, especially also with strawberries, of course. So you can really have an increased taste or more tangy taste, yes, with this method, because also for example, in this year, I mean, weather has been quite harsh. So also a chef told me that the vegetables that he gets right now don't taste like a lot because there was just too much water in them. And since we can really control everything, and also the salt content in the water, that then will reduce the water uptake from the plant, etc. So you can really engineer on how it should taste or how it should come out in the end.
And is this something that I could set up in my own home? I mean, assuming I had the space, but you need the space, obviously. But
I mean, there are devices that you can buy. Of course, they're not as technologically advanced because for you yourself, it doesn't matter probably if the basil takes 30 days or 40 days. You just enjoy the part of growing the plants. But there are units that you can buy. Also, there's an ETH spin-off currently. That's I don't recall the name right now. Pleasant Plants, I think it is. They also built these wooden boxes there where you can just grow your own plants and try it out. And
what do they call that? Balcony farming, or
exactly
this kind of thing. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, like this. Okay. And what countries do you see benefiting more from vertical farming than others?
So it's usually countries that are don't have so much traditional farming. For example, we have a partner in Norway where, of course, they have quite cold winters, but have now invested a lot in renewable energy, so a lot of energy because we need to power all the LEDs, of course. So that would be a good candidate, or countries where there might be a water shortage. Yeah, like a desert kind of place.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And since you are a startup, a question comes to mind always: what came first, the need or the solution?
It's hard to say. I mean, the entire vertical farming market is super new. So lots of farmers just started out with growing their own plants. And since we are all quite data driven, we thought of, okay, let's build a data product first so that we can leverage the experiences that the others do. And we support them with a dashboard and with technology. And through that time, we can learn on how to improve certain traits. So I think currently, I mean, with new technology, LED and sensors and everything getting cheaper and better available, it really helps bringing this precision farming into a better shape. And instead of growing the plants ourselves to begin with, I think for us it's a great opportunity to support vertical farmers or just very digital affine greenhouses or something like that to support them and like make both lives better and yeah, learn together.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much
Thanks a lot.
for your talk. And wait, we have a little gift for you. Yeah, this one's for you.